Have you ever reached a point in life where nothing makes sense? You prayed, you believed, you obeyed, yet what's happening feels the exact opposite of what God promised. You wonder, Lord, where are you in all this? If that's you, stay with me because today we're diving into the mystery of when God's plan doesn't make sense and why it might just be the most powerful chapter of your life. Let's be real. Sometimes following God feels like walking blindfolded. He tells you to trust, but the path looks like it's falling apart. You lose a job you thought was secure. A relationship ends that you believed was from Him. A dream feels delayed, even denied. And you're left asking why? But here's the truth. God's plan is not always logical. It's theological. He's not just working on your situation. He's working on you. And when it doesn't make sense, that's usually the sign that He's about to do something greater than you imagined. Think about Joseph. At 17, God gave him a dream of greatness. But what happened right after? Betrayed by his brothers, sold as a slave, wrongly accused, thrown into prison. If Joseph judged God's plan by his circumstances, it made zero sense. But what Joseph didn't see at first was that the pit, the prison, the betrayal were all stepping stones to the palace. The very thing that didn't make sense was the very thing that positioned him to save nations. Genesis 50 verse 20 says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." What looks like chaos in your life might be the construction site of your destiny. Now let's go deeper. Jesus Himself. The disciples thought the cross was the end. How could the Messiah die? How could God allow this? To them it was nonsense. But in that moment of seeming defeat, God was orchestrating the greatest victory ever, the salvation of the world. The cross didn't make sense until resurrection morning. Sometimes God's plan only makes sense after the breakthrough. Here's why God's plan often confuses us. We see the moment, He sees eternity. We see pain, He sees purpose. We want comfort, He wants character. We think detour, He thinks destiny. Isaiah 55 verse 8 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." If you can figure everything out, then it wouldn't be faith, it would be sight. Faith is trusting God when the pieces don't fit and the picture isn't clear. I remember hearing about a woman who lost her job suddenly. She was broken. She didn't understand why God allowed it, because she prayed daily for security. Months later, that closed door led her into starting her own business, which not only provided for her family, but also gave jobs to others. What she thought was God abandoning her was actually God redirecting her. Sometimes rejection is protection. Sometimes delay is preparation. And sometimes disappointment is divine appointment. So let me ask you, what area of your life right now doesn't make sense? Is it your finances? Your family? Your future? Hear this. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean God isn't in control of it. He is faithful. He sees the end from the beginning. He is not a God of confusion, but of order. And when it's all said and done, you'll look back and say, "Now I see why it had to happen this way." When God's plan doesn't make sense, trust His heart, because His silence is not absence. His delay is not denial, and His plan is always better than yours. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more encouragement. And remember, God's plan may not always make sense, but it will always make miracles. God has blessed you.